Hello everyone, my name is Devendra Kaur and you all are welcome to my YouTube channel, The Enlightened Room. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about our new topic of chapter Life Processes, and the title is Nutrition in Human Beings. So let's get started. As it is already known that human beings are heterotrophic omnivorous organisms. That means these organisms, that means the human beings, obtain their food from plants, animals and their products by a mode of nutrition known as holozoic mode of nutrition. Okay, and the main or essential components of human diet are water, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals and vitamins. Okay, so the human digestive system, which we are going to discuss in this video, consists of an alimentary canal and it has numerous digestive glands. So let's get started with the alimentary canal. What alimentary canal actually is? Alimentary canal is a long tube with muscular walls, glandular epithelial lining and a diameter that varies at various extents. Okay, it starts from the mouth and ends at the anal opening, which is also considered as anus. So if we uncoil the alimentary canal, it can measure nearly 9-meter long tube in which ducts of several digestive glands open to secrete their respective digestive secretions. So alimentary canal, which has been folded and coiled into the human body, can be long up to 9 meters, which is really unpredictable. It starts from the mouth, which is the uppermost opening of human digestive system, because it gives a passage for ingestion of food. Ingestion of food means the food has been intaken through the mouth. The food enters into the body of a person or a human being through mouth with the help of two soft movable lips which guards the mouth, and it opens a chamber or a cavity known as buccal cavity. Now what is in this buccal cavity? It is also known as oral cavity actually. It is a large space bounded above by the palate, below by the throat and on the sides by the jaws. The throat supports the muscular tongue, which forms the floor for this cavity, and this tongue is essential in ingestion of food. The jaws we discussed, which are on the sides of the buccal cavity, has teeth. The upper and lower jaws are provided with the teeth, which consist of 2 pairs of incisor, 1 pair of canine, 2 pairs of premolars and 3 pairs of molars. Okay, so the upper part has 16 teeth, lower jaw has 16 teeth. So a human adult can have 32 permanent teeth. Okay, now the buccal cavity has not only the tongue and the teeth, it also has 3 pairs of salivary glands which are located at different locations. These glands lies on the side of the face, on the front part of the tongue and on the angles of the lower jaw. The salivary glands have a purpose. From its name, it is clear that these salivary glands secrete saliva through their ducts, and this saliva consists of water, salts, mucin, and there is a special enzyme which is known as ptyalin. This ptyalin enzyme is of great importance because it is a salivary amylase and it splits starch and glycogen into maltose. So the carbohydrate digestion begins in the buccal cavity itself, which is responsible for hydrolysis of about 30% starch present in the food. Alright, now next part of the alimentary canal is pharynx. The pharynx is just a 12 centimeter long funnel shaped vertical canal which serves as a passageway for the food from buccal cavity to the esophagus. In the pharynx, there is no digestion of food. The 30% of hydrolysis had occurred in the buccal cavity After that, the digestion will be directly into the stomach. Even on the way on esophagus, there is no sign of digestion at all. The reason behind it is that esophagus is a long tubular structure which serves to carry the food from the pharynx to the stomach. And the walls of esophagus are extremely muscular, and they have no purpose of digestion of food because they do not possess anything to digest the food. What they possess is a peristaltic movement. That means contraction and expansion movement of walls, so that the partially digested food is pushed forward in the tract. In fact, this movement occurs throughout the alimentary canal. Alright. So, after the esophagus, we have our next organ which serves the purpose of digestion of food. We are going to discuss the main part. Okay. And that is stomach. Stomach is considered as either J-shaped muscular sac or a wide C-shaped muscular sac which is present on the left side of the abdomen. The partially digested food means a part of the food has been digested in the buccal cavity. Now that partially digested food reaches into the stomach from buccal cavity through what part? Through pharynx and esophagus. Okay. Now the stomach has four main functions in the process of digestion of food. First function is storage of food. Actually, when the food reaches the stomach, it is stored in the stomach for a variable duration. For instance, carbohydrates continue to get digested till the salivary enzyme ptyalin is destroyed by the hydrochloric acid secreted in the stomach. Okay. Then remains the remaining food in the stomach, which can stay in the stomach for about 1 to 2 hours. Okay. That part is the remaining carbohydrates. In case of proteins stay in the stomach for up to 3 hours. Fats can stay up from 3 to 6 hours. Okay. So, the different kind of nutrients stay or remain in the remain in the stomach for different intervals of time. This is the first function of stomach, which is the storage of food. Then comes the mechanical churning of food. In this, the stomach's walls undergoes a periodic muscular contraction so that the food gets churned and mixed thoroughly with the help of gastric juice. Okay, and what is gastric juice? The hydrochloric acid which is secreted into the stomach. Then is third function, which is a partial digestion. The food that has been already reached to the stomach is partially digested. Now that after the digestion, there still remains some food which is not digested, which cannot be digested by stomach. Actually, it can only be digested into small intestine. Okay, so in this, stomach would possess a branched and tubular glands present on the inner surface of its wall. These three types of glands would secrete hydrochloric acid, protein digesting enzyme, and the third thing is mucus. And when these three secretions are mixed into each other, these are called gastric juice. Okay, so the hydrochloric acid makes the medium acidic in the stomach, and the protein digesting enzyme called pepsin acts in acidic medium, which breaks down the protein into peptones. Actually, these peptones are further broken down in the small intestine. So let us first discuss about the gastric juice, which contains the gastric lipase. The purpose of this gastric lipase is to partially break down the lipids. That means gastric juice can be secreted into stomach by various factors, not only after the food has been eaten by the person. The gastric juice can also be secreted into stomach by the sight, smell, or thought of a appetizing food. For instance, you are traveling somewhere, or you are going somewhere, and there was a food stall or a food cafe where a delicious smell was coming, and you had smelled it and you had a thought of appetizing food. There was an image in your brain of that food, that yes, a pizza has been prepared, or some traditional food has been prepared there which is of zesty flavors. So your stomach would start secreting gastric juice at that instant too, even though you haven't eaten anything. Okay. Now is the fourth main function of stomach, which is regulation of flow of food into small intestine. Now the stomach would regulate the flow of partially digested food into small intestine, and that's the main function. The thing we had discussed that HCl would make the acidic medium acidic, and it would help in food, and the other thing was digesting digesting enzyme which would break down the protein. What is the purpose of mucus? Mucus is a part of gastric juice which has been secreted by the gastric glands. The purpose of mucus is to cover the inner lining of stomach and protect it from corroding action of HCl as well as from pepsin enzyme. If the mucus is not present, the HCl would lead to acidity and the formation of gastric ulcers due to the corrosion of inner lining of stomach, which is a really painful disease. Okay, and sometimes it does not even get treated after the proper medication. That's why secretion of mucus is also of great importance. Now our next part or next organ of alimentary canal is small intestine. Well, the small intestine undoubtedly is longest part of alimentary canal. Its name is small, but it is actually large. Okay, it is the longest part of alimentary canal. Now it is a narrow tube of about 6 meters which has been coiled into the abdomen. The length of small intestine varies in different animals depending upon the type of the food they eat. For example, the small intestine is comparatively longer in herbivorous animals which eat grass and shorter in carnivorous animals which eat meat. The reason behind that is long intestine small intestine of herbivorous is helpful in digestion of cellulose. That's why it is longer in size. Whereas meat is digested easily. Flesh or meat is digested easily. That's why carnivores have shorter, small intestine. So in human beings, now let's discuss about the human beings. The partially digested and churned food from stomach enters into the small intestine. The exit of food from stomach would be regulated by a special muscle known as sphincter muscle, which is located at the pyloric end. Since the food was of acidic medium in the stomach, when it enters into the small intestine, its main purpose is to make the food alkaline before further digestion. Because digestion is in small intestine begins only when this acidic food is converted into alkaline by the action of various secretions from liver and pancreas. That means now comes the purpose of liver and pancreas, and these two would do the secretion, the process of secretion through a common duct by the union of bile duct and pancreatic duct. Okay. Now the bile duct carries bile. What is bile? Bile is actually secreted by liver, and before secretion it is stored in gallbladder. The bile contains bile pigments and bile salts, and it does not contain any enzyme. Since bile does not contain any enzyme, there is no chemical action on food. Bile has actually some salts which are sodium glycocholate and sodium terephthalate, and these are essential for the emulsification of fat. Okay, that means the bile juice would do the purpose of emulsification of fat. It does not contain any enzyme. I am repeating myself, it does not contain any enzyme, and that's why it has no chemical action on food, but it has the action of emulsification of fat, which means breaking down of fat molecules into small globules. Okay, small globules. Then is the pancreatic duct, which comes from pancreas. Pancreas is in an elongated yellowish gland lying parallel to and beneath the stomach. This pancreas has both endocrine and exocrine gland. Okay, the exocrine region secretes sodium bicarbonate and other digestive enzymes, whereas the endocrine region of pancreas secrete hormones which are insulin and glucagon. The bicarbonate ions secreted by pancreatic duct make the medium alkaline. So, the bile duct would only help in the emulsification of fat. Okay, it has no enzyme, it has no chemical action, whereas the pancreatic juice contains enzymes, contains bicarbonate ions, and these ions and enzymes help in changing the medium of the food. That means it would convert the acidic medium of food into the alkaline medium by the action of pancreatic enzymes. The pancreatic amylase causes breakdown of starch, pancreatic lipase breaks down lipids, and trypsin causes digestion of food, which are the various pancreatic enzymes I have mentioned. Besides bile and pancreatic juice, small intestine secretes another intestinal juice which contains a mixture of different enzymes, and these enzymes are really important because all these enzymes act upon different types of food, and the action of these enzymes causes conversion of protein into amino acids, conversion of carbohydrates into glucose, conversion of fats into fatty acids and glycerol. And all these products are soluble in water and can be easily absorbed by the wall of the intestine, which contains blood capillaries. Inside the small intestine, especially the wall of small intestine, is raised into numerous projections which are considered as villi. These villi are of different shapes, for example of leaf shape, tongue shape and finger-like structure. The purpose of villi is to increase the absorptive surface area of the inner lining of the intestine, and the presence of villi and blood capillaries in the absorptive surface enhances the capacity of the absorption by the wall of the intestine. Okay, so these villi are richly supplied with blood capillaries. They contain lymph vessels. Lymph flowing in lymph vessels carry digested fat absorbed by the intestine, and then they finally open into the larger veins. So this is the purpose of villi actually. Then comes the large intestine. The small intestine is followed by large intestine, which is shorter but wider than small intestine. Small intestine was narrow in shape, whereas large intestine in human beings is wider in shape. It is arranged around this mass of the small intestine actually in the form of a question mark. The large intestine does not have any villi, but still the large intestine secretes mucus. The greater part of large intestine is colon, which gives sacculated appearance due to its series of constrictions. The colon is followed by 15 to 20 centimeter long vertical column called rectum, and it has various longitudinal folds and large blood vessels. The undigested food is collected as feces in the rectum actually. The rectum leads through 2 to 5 centimeter long anal canal to the exterior of the anus. Okay, this rectal wall mainly absorbs water from the undigested food, and it also secretes mucus for the lubrication so that stool can be passed out easily. And the facial matter is digested out through anal opening by the activity of anal sphincter, which is also a form of muscle. So until now we have discussed about the structure of alimentary canal, how the digestion occurs, and main functions of the organs of the alimentary canal. Now we were going to discuss about the assimilation of digested food. That means the food has been absorbed and digested in the processes we have discussed until now. Now it's time for the assimilation of digested food, how the food is assimilated. The alimentary canal has various organs, it has various digestive enzymes, It secretes which are secreted by various digestive glands, and these glands are located at different parts. The digestive juices are secreted under the influence and stimulation of hormones, and these are released from the glands in different parts of the canal. This is what we have studied until now. The digested food is absorbed in the small intestine through numerous villi. Absorption may occur in large intestine, but here the villi is not present. So the mainly water is absorbed, not any nutrient is absorbed here. Okay, so the absorbed food goes into the blood. The absorbed food which has been absorbed by the villi in the small intestine and the water in the large intestine goes into the blood, moves along with the blood stream through veins. Okay, and this food through blood vessels, not veins only, through blood vessels. This food then reaches the cells where it is utilized. Actually, utilization of food is a part of nutrition which is termed as assimilation. This is what assimilation of digested food means. The digested food mainly contains glucose, fructose, galactose, amino acid, fatty acid, nucleosides, pentose, sugars and many more. Okay, so these simple molecules can be used up for building up components of cells and tissues, and can be used for or are broken down actually by catabolic processes. That means the oxidation to release energy, and this whole process occurs inside the cell. When the food reaches inside the cell, this kind of process occurs, which is considered as the assimilation of food, because it means utilization of food. Okay, so this is our topic, digestion of food in human beings, which can also be considered as nutrition in human beings. In the next class, we will discuss about respiration, concept of breathing and cellular respiration, and types of cellular respiration. I hope you found my video useful, and if this video is useful to you, then do share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel for more updates. Thank you for watching.